Tim, welcome to the podcast.
Glad to be here.
Tim Balz, CEO and founder of Kalogon, is a former SpaceX engineer with a proven passion plus patents for making sitting better. He founded Kalogon and through empathy-driven design leads his team to develop products that improve seated wellness. First and foremost, Tim, how did you get started in this industry?
It's kind of a crazy story. I started with wheelchairs with a nonprofit that I founded in high school. And then from there, kind of developed a passion for improving technology for people with disabilities. Long story short, found an unmet need and channeled that passion into to founding Kalogon.
Hmm. Did you have do you have like back issues on your own? Because usually
No,
that's like inspires people to start something. It's like this problem has been such a problem in my life. I want to help other people.
no, it's actually kind of crazy. It's just there was this one day in high school where there was a student who was in a manual wheelchair who he pulled the recycling behind it and eventually got too heavy from people putting recycling from the different classrooms in it, and he got stuck. And when I asked his teacher why didn't he have a power chair, she had said that his insurance company denied it, even though he clearly needed one. And so
Mm.
I got a wheelchair on Craigslist, traded a moped for it, and I tricked it out for him, and it changed his life. And from there,
That's crazy.
it just kind of snowballed. And now I've given away hundreds of wheelchairs.
Very cool. So tell me a little bit about your background. What kind of engineer are you?
I'm a mechanical engineer.
That would make a lot of sense. And and what kind of people do you particularly focus on helping?
Yeah, so for me, in this market, it's everyone from someone with ALS or spinal cord injury. Initially, our first products are really focused on people. Um, like one of our mottos is live an active seated life, and so there's a lot of people out there who, if you can just fix some of their seating issues, they can. It really unlocks a lot of opportunities for them. So that's our core market, but we really can help anyone who sits for long periods of time.
Uh, that segues into a pretty interesting conversation because there are people with disabilities who truly need your services, but there are people without disabilities that we're in a working economy. We're in a place where we sit down for hours, and entrepreneurship and sitting down, like programmers do nothing but sit. I myself spent literally 12 hours looking for a chair, and and I try it, and it's like it's impossible to buy one because you kind of got to sit in it. I feel like to at least know if it's gonna feel right. But how much of a role does it play on like helping you have a healthy posture and whatnot?
Yeah, so one of the really cool things is I love where you talked about how it's really hard to know if the chair is gonna be right for you before you sit on it. And that's because imagine you're designing this product that needs to fit a range of body types from someone that's 80 pounds to 400 pounds. You don't know if they're gonna be male or female. There's so much variability in that and like what someone needs that it's almost impossible with a static surface to be able to do that. And so with our technology, what it's able to do it, we actually can have the cushion itself change the way it conforms to your body based on the shape of your body. And that's what's
Mm.
really unique about it compared to any other technology that's out there.
Yeah, and onto the wheelchair industry for just a moment. It's been stagnant for decades, from what I've been reading, and like, what's different about Callaghan, and how are you kind of disrupting the status quo?
Yeah, so we knew coming into this market that there's a lot of great people in the market, but for a couple different reasons, like you say, innovation may not be keeping up with the rest of the world in many areas. And so what we first started with was we looked at how SpaceX was able to disrupt all these other players in the hardware space here in the U.S. And so after working there for a few years, we took a lot of those same principles of how you do your manufacturing, your prototyping, and
Mm.
how you make sure you have a deep understanding for the needs that you're solving. In our case, we chose to really dive in from an empathy perspective, channeled all that together, and then really allowed us to build a product for what people needed, rather than just as engineers what we thought would be fun or cool to build.
Right, and help me understand something. So currently, your business model is more focused on people in wheelchairs.
Yes, that is. So we have products in multiple markets, but that's obviously that's the market that's close to my heart and what I'm personally
Yeah.
passionate about. So that is our core market, but we do have products in multiple other markets now.
Exactly? So I can only imagine when you master the art of understanding the seeding process and how to really help people get comfortable and feel good, and obviously deal with the ergonomic aspect. I can only imagine this will push itself into other industries. So my question to you is like currently like are you just trying to perfect your model and your structures before you expand outwards? Are you looking upon different horizons? Like, oh, are you looking at just getting chairs for the regular end user or for someone who's working in an office from 9 to 5?
Great question. So to start out, we, like we're nowhere close to being done from an R&D perspective in the wheelchair market. Now that being said, what's really cool is as we continue to push the base technology forward, we're seeing other markets kind of get unlocked one at a time. So an
Mm,
example is think about like what's the next, next biggest need where someone has to sit for long periods of time, where there's a huge value to solving that. And so that was where, Air Force pilots. So there's some Air Force pilots that have to sit for 30 plus hours, and for those individuals there was a huge value in unlocking that. Um and for us, the technology was far enough along to where the value to price ratio made sense. But as we keep pushing that technology forward, it's also going to allow the cost to come down, so we can keep going and expanding to additional markets. So that's where I really think of it as like a core base of technology,
right.
continually pushing the research forward about seating as a whole. And then as the product gets better, as our knowledge and ability to manufacture it cheaper, to find ways to make it more efficient, then we can continue to expand all the way to like office chairs in the future.
Super cool. That's awesome. Um, so pressure injuries cost in the US healthcare system an estimated of $27 billion annually. Yet solutions have been limited. How is Callaghan's technology addressing that?
Yeah, so what we do is whenever you sit down on one of our products, it detects the shape of your body. Next, it's going to actually conform to you based on that shape. Once it's actually like built for you, if a clinician says, "Hey, here's an area of high or low risk," they can tune the cushion on top of our algorithms. So we take that into account, and now you've got this really, really well-made static cushion.
Hmm,
Next, you turn on our redistribute mode, and that's where we'll take one small area, pull back pressure. That allows blood flow to return and reoxygenate the tissue, and then we resupport. And this is
interesting.
where it's not just a static cushion, but it's able to dynamically support your body. And that's how we're able to ensure that with that tissue oxygenation, there's a lower likelihood of developing pressure injuries, or we can, also the goal is to help them heal more quickly as well.
I wonder if there's like a market where instead of making these like one size fits all chairs, where you can somehow bring like like you can mail in a kit where someone would sit, I don't know, someone or sit on it or get some sort of mold where you'd be able to see, hey, you have scoliosis or you have like your back's a little misaligned and to fix your posture and this and that. And you would like almost custom make them a chair. I can feel like that would be something that so many people would fall in love with.
Yeah, what's really cool is that actually is done in the wheelchair market some, where you take like a vacuum bag and you sit on it and you pull vacuum on it and then you can 3D scan it. It's a little bit more of an involved process, but it is something that I think would be super interesting because I've seen people doing that for shoes and such now, and I know that there's even some like custom bicycle seats and helmets that have used a
Yeah.
similar technology.
I sit in my desk for hours and hours and hours every single day. It's a more important investment than my laptop. And having like a seat that really helps support my back, that makes me feel comfortable, is first of all incredibly good for productivity, and it's extremely important for my health. So if something like that came out, that'd be the first thing I would jump on.
Oh yeah.
So, what are currently the hurdles that you're facing today within your company?
Yeah, so I mean, for us, a big part of it's, I've got a big vision. We've got a lot we want to do. It's making sure we stay focused and making sure that we win for our current customers, while also as quickly as possible, expanding the number of people that our technology can benefit. I think every day about that. I think about the customers whose lives we could change and who are having to wait on us to get there. Like yourself, like I would love to be able to have a product for you tomorrow, but I have to, be very careful to manage our resources and make sure that we win in our current markets, and then can leverage that success to
Yeah,
expand. That's where my mind goes a lot. Um, and there's obviously, the natural startup challenges. There's always cash flow issues. There's always, how do
yeah.
we bring on the best engineers in the world to work with us and support our mission? And building that team and empowering them is where I spend the rest of my time.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really passionate about what you do, and I agree with you. It sounds like slow and as they say, slow and steady wins the race.
Oh yeah.
Um, so if I were to put you in a time machine in 10 years from now, what do you see yourself doing, and how do you see how do you see your company looking?
Yeah, so I see Kalogon as clearly the world leader in seating. We're going to be the leader in the wheelchair space, of course, from a seating perspective, and then beyond that, I think when someone thinks of high quality seating, Calagan is the first name that comes to their mind.
What has taking the entrepreneurship route, how has that like changed you? And is there anything in particular you look back and you say that you've learned a lot from?
Oh man, I will say like I get bored easy. I get restless. Like I want to be solving new challenges every day, and entrepreneurship is one of the very few jobs where you're truly solving new challenges every day that you had no idea. Like half of what I did today, I had no guess yesterday of what half my day was going to be today. And I know tomorrow I have no idea what it's going to be, and that's what's so exciting. And I think what that's done is it's really helped accelerate my learning. Everything from running financials, everything from managing talent on the team, making sure that everything from like the layout of the workspace so that my team can be as comfortable as possible and as effective as possible. Like little things like that I've learned have been huge. I think from a skills perspective, it's it's my first for profit startup. So there's been a huge number of mistakes I've made, and I'd like to think that each of those mistakes has been where a lot of my learning has come from.
Yeah, that's a great answer. First of all, what time is it where you are? Just out of curiosity.
9:25 p.m.
Oh, where are you?
I'm in Melbourne, Florida.
Oh, cool. I'm in Aventura.
Oh,
I
nice.
was going to ask you, are you in your office now?
I am still in my office. Yes.
I love that. And what is that behind you?
Oh, that is a 3D printer. That's
That's so cool.
running some parts for a new top secret project. I gotta cover it so no one can see.
That is super cool, man. I feel like, it's not every day that 9:30 someone's at work, and honestly, like that's how it should be. When you really love what you do, it's you're always trying to get more of it. And it
And
sounds
I'm
like
not
you're
the
a
only one
workaholic.
here. I'm not the only one here yet still, which normally our team, we do not have a toxic culture in that way, but we've got a very passionate team where, if there's something where they can go above and beyond for our customer, our team jumps into action. And so there's actually still 3 people at the office this late, which is
Love it.
yeah.
The problem with people who are really passionate about what they do, sometimes it bleeds into every other aspect of their life. So, how do you navigate that? How do you manage to separate your professional life from your personal life? Because it seems like it's bleeding into your personal life.
I I think that's not the approach. For me, the best approach is not to separate. It's to actually bring them together. I have an incredibly supportive wife. She loves what we do at Calagon. She's actually a nurse supervisor herself, and so
That's
she's
beautiful.
yeah, she's seen what happens um when people fail the customers we're trying to serve, and it's something where she's incredibly supportive. But I think the other thing too is I think for me, it's something where I don't need to, hang my Calagon hat at the door when I get home. Uh, you know, she works night shift, and so nights where she works, I stay at work because I love what I do. Like I enjoy it as it's like a hobby. Um, so at the end of the day, if she's working, I just work until it's time to go home and go to bed. But days where she doesn't work, I try to get home at a reasonable hour. So it's like they do bleed into each other, and then she'll know, hey, sometimes I'll have an 8 p.m. call, but I'll let her know ahead of time. We'll plan dinner around it. If there's something where I've got to be in another state for work and she happens to not be working those days, she'll fly out, have fun during the day, and then when I finish work in the evenings, we'll go out for a nice dinner. And so it really they mesh together, and it's even gotten to the point at conferences where she can come in and join me at conferences and go in and do business dinners. And so it really there is no separation, and for some people that is not good. And I recognize that is not for everyone, but for me, the two melding together, that is where balance is for me.
That's honestly a beautiful answer, and in fact, I completely agree with you. And I have a hard time separating the two. So, But I was always told that you have to separate the two, and you're very lucky to have a wife that not only you connect with on a personal level, but shares your broader dreams and aspirations, because that sounds like an extremely beautiful thing to have. And it's if you really like what you do, it should be one and the same. So I think you should be very grateful that you have that in your life, because sometimes people like have a hard time with their spouse because they might not necessarily understand what you do, and why you're always working. But I can only imagine you have time where like there's no work. We're just like, it's one-on-one time, and we're getting
Oh yeah.
dinner and the laptop is closed and all that.
The key is to, when you're in those moments, to recognize it and
Mm,
truly like give all of your focus and passion and channel it to that relationship. It's the other thing that I think is so cool is she's so supportive that whenever I left SpaceX, I went without a salary for years.
mm.
And so she had to pick up, and it was during COVID, so she had to pick up a lot of really
Wow.
tough shifts during COVID. Now the COVID pay was great, helped fund the early days of Kalogon. We would joke, her and I would joke, I'd be like, I guess I'm a trophy husband now, because I don't have a job that pays me anything, and you're working all this overtime. But no, it's I don't know. I think it's, even if anything, it's strengthened our relationship, and I think a big part of it is you have to be willing to talk about work to an extent when you come home. It's like, include them, make them feel part of the journey. Like, a lot of my team members know my wife. A lot of them, we've developed external friendships, especially the founding team. Um, and so I think for that, like, she knows if I have a work issue, like she knows that I'm not choosing work over her, that I'm choosing to take care of, over 30 people depend on us to put food on their table as team members, and over 1,000 people depend on us to create products that save and change their lives. And so she gets that, and so she knows that I'm not, choosing something over her, that I'm just finding the balance that works for both.
Tim, you seem like an incredibly intelligent person, and you have very, very good energy. So I think just from talking to you for a few minutes, I think what you're doing is absolutely beautiful, and I feel like you're doing a lot of good things. So it's a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for sharing your wisdom. And keep being awesome, man.
Yeah, and if you're ever down in this area, come visit and tour our facility. We do all of our
I
manufacturing.
might do that. I might do that one day. You might see me in person. Thank you
Awesome.
so much for your time, Tim. How can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so our website's Kalogon, KALOGON.com. So feel free to reach out there. Our phone number's on the website. And then you can reach out to me at tim.balz@kalogon.com.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Michael.